Americans can't buy food for their families, but they want the money for the Iran war. Let's see.
You are asking for unlimited money for bombs when people can't feed their families. And I don't know how this administration intends to defend those decisions to the American people.
Not unlimited bombs, Senator. I'm asking for the right bombs at the right time to ensure we can deter our adversaries into the future. And that's why this is a generational investment. And it was the previous administration that didn't fund
And she trying to cut him off too, man. If we don't got the right motherfucking armory, nobody ain't gonna be able to eat because it ain't gonna be no families. We gonna be all gone.
Secretary Hegseth,
there's no reason
you are asking for unlimited money for bombs when people can't feed their families. And I don't know.
But a lot of people been couldn't feed their families, and y'all still been using funding, putting it elsewhere.
How this administration intends to defend those decisions to the American people.
Not unlimited bombs, Senator. I'm asking for the right bombs at the right time to ensure we can deter our adversaries into the future. And that's why this is a generational investment. And it was the previous administration.
I feel like the people rather be safe than eat, though. They rather stay alive than be hungry, though.
Why people are so upset. The reason why they are so upset with you and this administration is because the words you have used in the past don't add up. About Iran specifically, you said that we had obliterated, quote unquote, Iran's ability to create nuclear weapons. The president made the same claim. Yet 8 months later, in February of 2026, the president launched an active war claiming Iran was within 2 weeks of having a weapon. So when you say two very different things, the American
But she just said several months ago they said they stopping them to do that, and 2 weeks ago they got it. Hey. You see the time limit? Like, you can't stop them for so long. They gonna get their hands on it after you keep stopping them for so long. You feel me?
Believe or what to believe. They just know they can't afford their health care. They can't afford their food. They can't afford housing. And our farmers are continuing to suffer. So
we been couldn't afford to before the war. Before the war, after the stuff hit and the world changed during that time, a lot of people been struggling since we had to be by ourselves and stay in the houses. I ain't gonna say it, but now they care about if we not eating, if we ain't paying for our houses because they don't want to go to war.
It's true. Was it obliterated or wasn't it? What's the status?
The nuclear sites under Midnight Hammer were obliterated, but Iranians foolishly continued to attempt to pursue nuclear capabilities.
See. If a country keep threatening our country, why wouldn't we blow back at them?
That's why we destroyed their defense industrial base and so many of the other capabilities to ensure they can't get to a nuclear weapon. So we're staying laser focused on the objective, and you're trying to make campaign commercials.
No, we're
and
not.
That's fine.
So listen to this. You also say that you made the missile program, quote, destroyed and made combat ineffective, quote, Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity. Every company that builds every component of those missiles has been functionally defeated and destroyed, and that the missile program, existing stockpiles were depleted and decimated, almost completely ineffective. So why are there missiles left to hit Jordan and result in the loss of life of our brave men and women?
As we stated from the beginning, the Iranian defense industrial base is effectively gone. But they do have underground facilities because they're the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, and they've spent 47 years trying to hide their missiles under mountains, just like their nuclear capabilities, because they would like to get a nuclear weapon to wield it against us.
Of the war to believe.
Right? She want them to be like, you can't completely control and stop them from not having no weapons. You can do your best, but they still gonna get their weapons. It's their country. They got hiding spots, all types of.
Or it's not over. It's within 2 weeks, or it's not 2 weeks. We have no missiles, or we have missiles. And that consternation is why so many New Yorkers are perplexed, stressed out, and find this war to be incredibly unpopular because they don't understand the choices that the president.
But why would the war be popular? It's a war. What the heck?
Exactly. I will tell you how I use the word failure, because I use the word failure to their leaders. You, sir, are the failure, not the men and women who are on that front line.
He said, you, sir, are the failure.
Not the men and women who hold up their honor with distinction. But if there's a lack of a winning strategy, they're in harm's way. Their leaders have failed them. And that's what's happening. We have political leadership. You don't have a strategy. You don't have a long-term plan to actually win this war. Win the war. The men and women are going to be able to do it, but they need to have leadership. When will you show leadership?
I think your characterization of this incredible effort as a failure is reckless. And I think it's irresponsible. And I think it smears the sacrifice of the troops that are out there making on behalf of the American people to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Shame on you and others who call this a quagmire and a failure, and then you want to turn around and say you support the warfighter. Either you do or you don't.
Is the nuclear material still there,
I can
sir?
get you a ticket out to CENTCOM and talk to what those Americans are doing.
They happy they ain't getting bombed, but they not happy they not getting bombed. Like,
and how committed they are to this effort, and how they want to ensure that Iran never threatens their families with a nuclear weapon. That's the kind of intensity that.
Because everybody know in America, Iran supposed to be the most dangerous terrorist city in the world. Why would we want them to get a bomb? We know they coming for us. Like, what the heck?
Have about making sure that Iran isn't capable of doing
Secretary
that.
Hegseth, if you listen to my comments, you would have heard me say how amazing our warfighters are.
I heard failure. And the word heard. I heard exactly.
I will tell you how I use the word failure, because I use the word failure to their leaders. You, sir, are the failure, not the men and women who.
He meant that. He said, "You, sir, are the failure."
Not the men and women who hold up their honor with distinction. But if there's a lack of a winning strategy, they're in harm's way. Their leaders have failed them. And that's what's happening. We have political leadership. You don't have a strategy. You don't have a long-term plan to actually win this war. Win the war. The men and women are going to be able to do it, but they need to have leadership. When will you show leadership? When will you show leadership?
Why don't you show some leadership and stand up to your fellow Democrats who won't fund the troops, who stand and play partisan politics while you don't give us the money? You want to stand up here and talk about the troops? You won't show any political courage to actually fund our department because you have
they don't got nothing to say now.
Syndrome and can't actually commit to anything meaningful. So I put this on you, Senator.
Secretary Hegseth, you have trillions, you have over $1 trillion. You're asking for $1.5 trillion. It's not a question of money. It's a question of leadership and understanding what it takes to actually win.
Political cowardice of Democrats who won't fund the troops.
Mr. Secretary, early in the conflict, day 3, you said one of those core objectives was to, quote, destroy the missile threat. And as you restated on day 5, to, quote, obliterate Iran's missiles and drones. Those were clearly and repeatedly stated core objectives of the campaign, which 4 months ago you declared had been completed victoriously with every single objective achieved. Were those objectives achieved 4 months ago?
No one ever stated that every single missile was gone. Ultimately, combat ineffective means they're not able to dig them out of their UGFs and shoot
Had
at
the
us.
missile threat
It doesn't mean they
been
don't have
defeated
underground
4 months
facilities
ago?
where they put missiles in them and hold on to them because they're the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. So we never expected they would stop having.
Why do they expect them to get every missile in their country, though? If they get majority of them, that's a win. But if they still got a couple, okay, go. Like,
and capabilities to shoot. The question is at scale against an opponent like.
Is that why they saying the war unorganized? Because they saying 2 different things. 4 months ago, they got all the missiles, and then
America.
Now that they got missiles now, it's 4 months later for one. They could have got new missiles, new allies, got it from hiding, like he said.
Which went toe-to-toe with them, and Iran couldn't.
You stated on March 8th, day 9 of the war, on 60 Minutes, you assured the American people of Iranian surrender. Does that remain your prediction?
Ultimately, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon to threaten the United States of America. That has been the objective, and it remains so.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from space? With this
You will not answer whether your statement made on the 14th day of the war that Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and made combat ineffective was a truthful statement to the American people as you sit here and ask for tens of billions more for the conflict.
Senator's time has
had a historic and effective military campaign against the largest state sponsor of terrorism.
Won't answer the question.
Senator Peters is recognized.
General Kane, let me just begin by expressing on behalf of all Georgians our immense gratitude and admiration for the service members who are making tremendous sacrifices and conducting themselves with extraordinary selflessness and professionalism on behalf of the United States and our states. Unified condolences and grief for the families of the 4 killed in action, and our hope for a swift recovery for the nearly 100 wounded over the last 2 weeks. And thank you to you for your service to the nation. Mr. Hegseth, you're requesting roughly $68 billion for the department through this supplemental, correct?
That's a lot of money, though. I ain't gonna lie.
67, yes.
And yesterday, your department stated publicly, quote, U.S. forces struck Iranian military command centers, maritime capabilities, missile and drone launch sites, and air defense systems to degrade Iran's ability to continue attacking commercial vessels. That was a press release from your department. Is that a broadly accurate characterization of ongoing operations?
That sounds broadly accurate, yes.
On day 14 of this conflict, Mr. Secretary, day 14, nearly 5 months ago, you stated that Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and, quote, made combat ineffective. That was on day 14 of the war. Was that an accurate statement?
They didn't have a Navy any longer. It was completely sunk. Their missiles were buried underneath a lot of their underground facilities, and their defense industrial base has been almost completely destroyed. So as far as a military assessment of Iran's capabilities, it didn't mean by any stretch of the imagination absolute zero, but their capabilities
Mr. Secretary,
at the lowest level
you
they've been in a
stated
very
that
long time.
on day 14 of this conflict, in the second week of the conflict, you stated that Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and, quote, made combat.
But they could build it back up. They could have stuff from hiding. They could do all types of stuff, just like our country can too.
Ineffective. Was that an accurate statement?
And then
Yes or
they want them to clear all nuclear bombs and threats in Iran, but then they don't want to give them. How much money do y'all think that's gonna cost them? Cost us. Of course they gonna need some more money. They talk about complete zero.
Iran's ability to challenge the United States of America at the level at which we're capable of.
That's not what I asked you, Mr. Secretary. You said on day 14, Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and, quote, made combat ineffective. Yes or no? Was that an accurate statement?
What the American military has
Will you
done
answer
to
the
the
question?
Iranian
He
military
trying to catch them up for show.
is a historic military
Will you
defeat,
answer the
and they're
question
ineffective
under oath?
in that context.
3 weeks later, you declared victory. That was now nearly 4 months ago. 3 weeks after you'd already said Iran's military was destroyed and combat ineffective, you said, quote, Operation Epic Fury was a historic and overwhelming victory. You said Iran's military had been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years to come. And you stated we had, quote, achieved every single objective. Were those accurate statements?
It certainly was, on behalf of the men and women in uniform, a historic military victory over Iran.
Had
There are
Iran's
other-
military been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years to come? That was
They
a
had
statement that you made 4 months ago.
They had 160 naval vessels.
You need
in
to
their
answer
Blue
the
Water
questions,
Navy,
Mr.
and they're gone.
Secretary.
Their
You
Air
said-
Force
you
is
said 4 months
completely
ago.
combat ineffective,
You
and they
said
don't
4
have a
months
defense
ago.
industrial base.
Excuse
So
me, Mr.
describe to me a country
Secretary.
that doesn't have an Air Force, a Navy, or a defense industrial base, and
Mr.
I will describe to
Secretary.
you a country that does not have an effective
Mr. Secretary,
military.
you
It
stated-
can lob missiles.
Mr. Secretary, you stated
missiles,
4
but it's
months
not a
ago
combat-effective
that Iran's
military.
military had been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years to come. Has Iran's military been, for the last 4 months, combat ineffective?
It's been set back not just years, but likely decades.
You
considering
stated
you
we had,
can't
quote,
build at the
you
level.
stated-
Okay, so he trying to make them say, "Oh, you said it was gonna completely die. They ain't gonna have nobody, no military thing for years to come." How, if they a country, how is that gonna work? Come on. Now, them going against war to us, if we just wiped out a whole bunch of their inventory, a whole bunch of their armory, of course that's finna set them back from years later, but they still gonna have to come back at us now, but they ain't gonna have it like they did. So they ain't really messing with us because we could, keep blowing shit up.
stated
It
we
doesn't
had,
mean
quote,
it doesn't have capabilities.
Mr. Secretary, you stated we had, quote, achieved every single objective. Was that an accurate statement 4 months ago?
The
But it's different It's different objectives, it's different wars, it's different missions in the war. So shit, maybe at the time they did finish everything they were supposed to finish, and then Iran built some new shit. They brought more shit onto them. It's a war. You keep blowing back.
Objective of this was to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Their main sites were obliterated. We're watching over them and we're holding them at issue. If they don't give them up at the table, there's other ways we can take them away.
Early in the conflict
Iran will
on
never
day
have a
3,
nuclear
Mr.
weapon.
Secretary, early in the conflict, day 3, you said one of those core objectives was to, quote, destroy the missile threat. And as you restated on day 5, to, quote, obliterate Iran's missiles and drones. Those were clearly and repeatedly stated core objectives of the campaign, which 4 months ago you declared had been completed victoriously with every single objective achieved. Were those objectives achieved 4 months ago?
No one ever stated that every single missile was gone. Ultimately, combat ineffective means they're not able to dig them out of their UGFs and shoot
Had
at
the
us.
missile
It
threat
doesn't mean they
been
don't have
defeated
underground
4 months
facilities
ago?
where they put missiles in them and hold on to them because they're the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. So we never expected they would stop having capabilities to shoot. The question is at scale against an opponent like the United States of America, which went toe-to-toe with them and Iran couldn't. And
You
cannot
stated on
handle it.
March 8th, day 9
And he keep trying to trip him up, and he just backing it up every time. Every time.
of the war on 60 Minutes.